If you think your age is the reason you're not getting hired as a data analyst, it's not. Age is just a story that we tell ourselves when the real problem is way more simple. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the exact same system to get you hired, whether you're in your 20s, 30s, or 40s, without begging the market to take a chance on you. So, first, let me explain what I mean because this is important. The hiring market right now rewards two things: proof and positioning, not effort, not age, not how many courses you've completed, and dang sure not where you went to school. The market isn't saying you're too old or you're too young. It's saying we can't tell if you can do the job or not. And I watch people fall into the same traps every week depending on what decade of life they're in. If you're in your 20s, you probably think the answer is volume. I'll just apply to more jobs so you spam 500 applications with no proof and no differentiation. If you're in your 30s, you probably think the answer is more preparation. One more certification, then I'll be ready. So you stay stuck in tutorial hell or collecting badges instead of building real evidence. And if you're in your 40s, you probably think your experience doesn't even count. You spent 15 years solving real business problems, but just because it wasn't called data analytics, you convince yourself that you're starting from zero. Every single one of these traps leads to the same inevitable place: being invisible. What I'm about to share works for people in their early 20s with zero experience and for people in their mid 40s who thought the window had closed. Same system, different starting points. I call it the ageless advantage system. 4 pillars. Nail all four and your age becomes irrelevant. But I'm going to be saving the fourth pillar until the end because it is the one most people have never considered, and it might be the most powerful. Okay, so pillar one: skills in the right order. Most people learn data analytics like they're throwing darts blindfolded. They jump from Python to SQL to machine learning because it sounds impressive. And then 6 months later, nothing is sticking and nobody is calling back. Stop collecting random tools like badges and Pokemon cards. The stack that gets you hired is clear. Start with Excel, pivot tables, Power Query, conditional formatting, basic statistics. This is your foundation. Do not move forward until you master this. Then you got SQL, join, CTEs, window function, subqueries. SQL appeared in over 78% of job postings when I analyzed over 4,000 of them, so this is not optional. Then a BI tool, Tableau or Power BI, it does not matter, choose one. No, it's not about just making charts and just dragging random graphics onto a canvas. Build dashboards that guide decisions. And then the key thing that most people screw up: data storytelling. This is what separates people making 60K from people making 120K plus. If you can take a messy data set and turn it into a story so clear that a VP can act on it in 10 seconds, you become incredibly valuable and AI will never replace you. And research from the Harvard Business Review shows that employees hired based on demonstrated skills perform 25% better than those hired on degrees alone. So the market is clearly telling us that proof of skills beat paper credentials every single time. So listen to the signals. All right, quick pause. Now, if you want to land your first job in data analytics and avoid the lengthy mistakes that I did, click the link in the pinned comment where you can find the exact steps that my students use to land their job in data analytics without going back to school. All right, now let's get back to it. Skills alone will make you a commodity. You'll look like everyone else who took the same courses, which brings us to pillar two: proof. Real proof. Your portfolio should not look like a homework assignment. It should look like real work. First, you can find a local nonprofit, a food bank, a shelter, a church, community program, whatever. Any organization drowning in data that they don't understand. And you can offer 30 days of free analytics consulting. This isn't some random idea. This is what top MBA programs charge 6 figures for. And you're doing the same thing without the debt. Trust me, I know from experience. Now, from this project, you need 3 proof assets. One, a dashboard in Tableau or Power BI that monitors a real business metric. Two, a slide deck summary, consulting style, action titles, 1 or 2 charts per slide, clear recommendations. 3, a written case study, problem, approach, outcome, and quantify the impact. When you have these 3 things, you're no longer someone who just took a course. You become someone who has delivered real results for a real organization. And here's what makes this age proof: a 25-year-old with a killer consulting project and a 45-year-old with a killer consulting project will look the same to a hiring manager. Age disappears when proof shows up, but proof doesn't matter if no one can find you. So leads us to pillar three: positioning. Most career changers position themselves like they're entry level, aspiring data analysts looking to transition. That language is killing your chances. If you've built the skills and done the work, You are a data analyst, so own it. Your resume and LinkedIn needs to answer one question instantly. What business problem do you solve and where's the proof? A weak headline says aspiring data analyst. A strong one will say data analyst helping nonprofits optimize revenue with SQL and Power BI. A weak resume lists duties, create dashboards with Tableau. A strong resume shows impact, built executive dashboards that reduce reporting time by 40%. Recruiters spend about 15 seconds on your LinkedIn profile, and half of that is on your banner alone. If your banner is blank, you're wasting the most valuable real estate that you have. Your positioning should communicate two things. I've been analyzing data and I'm doing it right now. If your brand doesn't say both, that gap is costing you interviews. Now, everything so far, skills, proof, positioning, this puts you ahead of 90% of the competition. But there's a fourth pillar that almost nobody talks about. Pillar four, the blue ocean. The blue ocean strategy is a business concept where instead of fighting in a crowded market, you create an uncontested space where competition becomes irrelevant. And in the job market, the red ocean are all the job boards: Indeed, LinkedIn, Easy Apply, thousands of candidates fighting over the same roles. It's a bloodbath. The blue ocean is the hidden job market accessed through LinkedIn networking and direct outreach, not desperate messages like, hey, can you help me find a job? Strategic, proof-based outreach. So step one, optimize your profile for discovery. Headline, featured section, about section, all clear and compelling. Step two, build a target list. Companies that you want to work for, hiring managers on those teams, and recruiters who work there. Not just HR alone, the actual people who would be your boss. Step three, warm outreach with proof. Hey, I built this dashboard analyzing customer churn in healthcare, and I noticed that your team is hiring for a similar role. I'd love to share what I found. You're not asking a favor, you're demonstrating competence. Step four, turn conversations into referrals. One warm introduction gets you further than 200 cold applications. I built my entire career that way. After my very first job, every single role came from networking. I knew nobody coming into this space, but I did coffee chats every week and I showed up with value. And the network that I built with my first 1,500 LinkedIn followers is still responsible for about 80% of the opportunities that I still get today. Most people spend months learning and minutes being seen. If you're invisible, you're going to be unpaid. Okay, so let me say this one more time. You're not too old and you're not too young. You're just under signaled. Skills in the right order so the market knows you're competent. Proof through volunteer consulting so the market knows you can deliver. Positioning that sells your proof so that the market can find you. And the blue ocean strategy so you can access opportunities that most people never see. That is a system. It works whether you're 22 or 42. The only variable is whether you execute. Now, you've watched this video, you've built the framework. Someone out there with less talent and less experience than you is already making moves right now. So don't let them take the spot that was meant for you. Next, watch my video on the only portfolio project that you need to get hired, because skills don't get interviews by themselves. Proof does. So I'll see you there.